Kathleen, progress here seems to be about as fast as continental drift.
I know, Rich, but really and truly, kind of suddenly it seems that something is happening. Remember how downbeat everyone was at the end of last week? Took forever for the Republicans to get their deal on the table, which Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority, then went on to present on Monday. Here we are only at Tuesday. Lots of talks, White House, Republicans and the president, Republicans and Democrats, and we have people sounding cautiously optimistic for sure. Mark Meadows, who is the White House chief of staff, saying the following: I would characterize the conversations as productive and a step in the right direction, probably the most productive meeting we've had to date. He also said that offers have been put on the table by the Republicans for the Democrats on extending unemployment insurance and, extending also the moratorium on evictions. He referred to those as the president's highest priority. And, of course, Steve Mnuchin also weighing in, and he's been saying for some time we need a deal, but it may take longer than we thought. Let's listen to this. We're not at the point of being close to a deal, but we did try to agree to set a timetable that we're going to reach an overall agreement, if we can get one, by the end of this week, so legislation could then pass next week. Well, that's really good because unemployment benefits at the federal level have expired. The eviction moratorium has expired. In fact, the Congress goes on August recess. At the end of the week, there's a lot of pressure on. In terms of what Democrats have said, Chuck Schumer, who is the leading Democrat in the Senate, President appreciates the GOP concessions. They still disagree on the depth and scope of the solution. $1 trillion is the stimulus package goal for the Republicans, $3.5 trillion for the Democrats. Speaker Pelosi hoping for a deal this week, saying on PBS tonight, we will have an agreement. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, acknowledges Republicans internally within the party don't agree with a lot of the things that are out there. But he says, as for him, he will support whatever the White House and Democrats can agree on. President Trump said on Gray TV earlier he supports extending the $600 a week jobless benefit. That's interesting. One more thing. Talks continue tomorrow. Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. We'll see what they can accomplish then.
Kathleen, how much does all of this then complicate the job of the Treasury Department as it prepares to announce what is expected to be an all-time record for quarterly funding?
I know. What's interesting, isn't it? As I said earlier, Tom, imagine you were planning a big party, but you didn't know if you were going to have 10 people coming or 40. Makes it a little bit tougher to set the menu and order the food. And that's kind of what it's like now. The Treasury announced yesterday that they are going to raise $947 billion in the third quarter. It'll be a record for any third quarter in history. And, of course, they're basing it on the assumption that there's going to be another $1 trillion in borrowing needed in the quarter. So the Wall Street's now looking for, on average, a record $108 billion refunding announcement in the next several hours. And remember, this is the quarterly sale of 3s, 10s, and 30-year bonds, very popular with investors. This can really set the tone for the Treasury market for a while. And remember, the second quarter refunding came in already at a record $96 billion. So what is I want to show you this because one thing, Wall Street right now is expecting the Treasury to tilt toward longer-term paper. Why not? You've got these crazy low yields. Save some money. We've got a huge deficit here. Let's take advantage. Interesting in terms of not knowing how much borrowing they're really going to need before they announce the refunding. Deutsche Bank says what they should do is they can announce it, but then let it rise if it needs to. If it turns out that that stimulus package is bigger, Morgan Stanley's saying, we think they're probably already just factoring all of this into the amount they're going to announce. And again, Barclays saying, look, the historically low rates are going to be playing a much bigger role for the Treasury. They're going to move towards longer-term debt, away from the Treasury bills, which they've been relying on. And that announcement coming at 8:30 Eastern time. So as I said, just hours from now, we'll see what they come up with. But presumably, I mean, it's all but certain, it's going to be big, Tom.